Hey everyone, how's it going? Back with another video this week, and I decided to create this video just a little bit about a reflection I had this past weekend in my own life journey of health and whatnot. And it's actually something I posted in my Modern Man Mastery groups of men who are trying to be at peak performance. Yeah, it means being a great dad or a husband or professional at work or all three. You're interested in that, by the way, please let me know. But besides that, there was something I was just reflecting on with them that happened over the weekend. I was at a memorial service for a neighbor of ours. And of course, they had some food out and whatnot. And it's fall time, although you wouldn't think it's the 80 degrees here in October in New England, which is weird. But it is officially fall here in New England. And one of the staples of fall in New England is apple cider donuts. And so they had some apple cider donuts out at this memorial service. And I really love apple cider donuts. I wouldn't say I'm not. I definitely do not partake in eating donuts frequently. But I love, in the fall time, just nostalgic having an apple cider donut. And they had them out on the table. And it took all my willpower to avoid them. I'm just like anyone else, folks. I see a food that I like and it calls to me, and sometimes I cave to that, and sometimes I have to use a lot of strength to say no to it. And this is one of those cases where I said no. I really struggled with it because I really wanted one of those apple cider donuts because this is the time to eat them. But as some of you probably already know, I have a competition that I'm competing in actually this coming Friday, but there's weight classes for that competition. And so I need to make weight. And so my diet, what I eat, is important at the moment. I was less than a week away when I encountered the apple cider donut. And if I was a few weeks away, I could make up for the donut. But with less than 7 days to the competition, I got to be a little bit more conscious, a little more stringent about my diet. And so I said no to the donut. I watched my son devour one, which kind of killed me inside. But in my head, I had to sit down but in my head, I was having this logical conversation with myself saying, okay, Ryan, you have this goal in mind. You have this weight class that you need to make weight for, this competition. You've worked several months at this point, and you could argue years to get to this point where you're going to compete in this competition. And is this donut here? Is this donut worth it? And the answer is no, obviously. It's not worth it. But I realized at the point, as reflecting on the donut experience afterwards, I realized that lots of times we embark on diets, ways of eating with the right intentions, improving our health, in this case, prepping for a competition. But sometimes the format of the diet that we're using in the moment may serve us, but it's not really a long-term approach. As much as I would like to put on a show and say that I don't care about the apple cider donuts, I do care about the apple cider donuts. Yeah, so if you told me I could never eat an apple cider donut for the rest of my life, I'd be upset. I really enjoy having an apple cider donut in the fall. And I don't need to have apple cider donuts every single day or every single week in the fall time. I just need to have one. I just need to have one apple cider donut at some point in the fall. And that's what kind of got me through the situation. All right, it's October 4th or 5th or whatever day it was. I still have plenty of time after I get back from this competition on Friday to have an apple cider donut. And you bet your ass I'm going to have an apple cider donut at some point in October. Because that's part of my diet, right? That is part of what lets me enjoy my life. And diet and food is much more than just weight loss or muscle gain or whatnot. It's about enjoying life. And part of fall in New England for me, nostalgic reasons, is having an apple cider donut. And I want to have an apple cider donut. So my diet needs to allow that flexibility, because otherwise it's going to make me miserable, right? Saying no to that donut, I never got to have a donut, I would be completely miserable and it wouldn't be fun. And it's not sustainable. And I think that's the point. The best thing in this, right? We start out on a journey with a diet and we hit it. Maybe we see some good results with it. And certainly the way I've been eating has gotten me, knock on wood, I should, if everything continues the way it is, I'll make weight perfectly fine on Thursday night and I'll be all good. And the way of eating has served a purpose for me to make weight for this competition. But outside of that, it's certainly not a way that I want to eat for the rest of my life. I've been eating the same thing, same 3 meals day in, day out for essentially since June, when I had my first qualifying competition for this, or before that, when I had my first, because the first qualifying competition was in June. So I had to make weight for that competition. And I've been sticking to this meal plan for most of the summer. At this point, I'm kind of over it. I like a little bit more flexibility in my life. And I realize that the way I'm eating has a purpose, and you might have a completely different purpose for the way you're eating. Maybe it's to fix your blood sugar or to lose some weight or to build some muscle or whatever. And lots of times that's just not, it helps make progress, right? You can get to a point where, okay, I've lost 10 pounds or I've, really made some improvements in my blood sugar regulation, or my sleep has gotten much better because my diet is much better. But maybe it's too far in the other direction. For me, it's like too restrictive. I need to allow more flexibility in my diet. And I realize that, right? And I'm definitely going to return to that. But we get scared a lot of times. In my example, if I allow more flexibility, I'm probably going to put on more weight. That's okay. Realize that trade-off. It's not like I'm going to be obese or have excess body fat or put on weight to the point where I'm going to put my health at risk. I'm just going to be a little bit heavier. That's okay, because that trade-off is fine with me, because I know over long term what I'm eating is a lot more, I guess, it allows me to get what I want out of my life. And that's important too. And that doesn't mean, I want to eat bags of chips and cookies every single day. It allows me to get what I want in my life. I don't think anyone needs to eat junk food every single day in order to enjoy their life. I think, in fact, if they backed off on the junk food and got a little bit healthier, they would enjoy their lives a little bit more. This allows them to do more things and be a more capable human being. So I think my message here is, what I'm trying to get across is that long term, you defined this diet that is this happy medium thing. Right? Your diet may need to be a little more restrictive if you have certain goals, and that's okay. There's a time and place for that. But ultimately, you need to find a healthy balance between enjoying the foods that are important to you, bring joy to your life, bring meaning to your life, allow you to celebrate birthday parties and anniversaries and holidays and special times of the year, and also allow you to live a healthy lifestyle. And that's a really hard thing to do. It's really challenging. It's hard to navigate that fine line between health and enjoyment when it comes to food, because we want more of the enjoyment than we want the health. Typically, we want the health, but it's easy to just enjoy the hell out of food and have the cookies and the beer and the pizza and the popcorn and the chips and the cake and the cookies and apple cider donuts and all the time, like every single day, week after week. And that's where you get into trouble. So it's not that you can just have a free-for-all. It's finding that balance on one side of the line or the other. And if you go too far on one side of the line, you have to correct on the other side. So if you go way too far on the unhealthy side, you might have to spend more time on the restrictive side. That's kind of the price you have to pay. Over years of doing this, you learn how to bounce back and forth, a little bit of enjoyment, a little bit more freedom, and maybe a little bit more restrictive. And you can never stray one way or the other too far. And that allows you kind of cruise through life. I think that's the sweet spot of doing this, being on this journey, is really spending the time to understand where your own sweet spot is with your diet. And so I hope that resonates with people. I hope it makes sense. I feel like I rambled a little bit, but it's just something I was thinking about because I too, as a health coach, struggle with this stuff sometimes. And I just want to relay that personal experience to you and how I go about these things. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts on this, please leave them below. Happy to keep on going in this discussion. As always, if you want to keep up with all the content that I put out on a weekly basis, the best way to do that is to join my newsletter. To do that at rjbhelp.coach. Click on the newsletter link at the top, enter the email address, and you'll be signed up for the newsletter. And then if you're struggling trying to find your sweet spot when it comes to diet and you need some help, I have a couple one-on-one coaching spots open. Please reach out for that. You can also go to my website at rjbhelp.coach, click on the schedule discovery call button, and fill out that form, and we can talk a little bit more about coaching, or just reach out to me and let me know you're interested, and we can set up time to chat. So I hope everyone has a great week, and I'll talk to you all next week.